Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys trade proposal adds low-risk, high-reward DL to fix run defense. Now that the NFL draft is in the rearview mirror, one of the Dallas Cowboys' top priorities has to be fixing one of the league's leakiest run defenses. The Cowboys allowed 112.35 rushing yards per game during the 2023 season while surrendering 14 rushing touchdowns. Given that Dallas waited until the 7th round to take a true defensive tackle, Auburn's Justin Rogers, with the number 244 overall selection, perhaps the Cowboys could look to pull off a trade for a veteran run-stuffer before the regular season kicks off this fall. NFL analyst Dustin Mosher suggests Cleveland Browns defensive lineman Maurice Hurst could be an ideal trade target to watch for the Cowboys. The Cleveland Browns' defensive tackle room is extremely deep, Mosher writes. And Maurice Hurst could be a salary cap casualty. Hurst is an older player, but he's a solid rotational player who can penetrate the backfield. The Cowboys could use more depth on their defensive line, and Hurst could be a low-risk, high-reward acquisition. If he thrives in a rotational role, the Cowboys add an interior pass rusher. If he cannot carve out a role, they can easily move on. If nothing else, Hurst could provide veteran stability to a young group while contributing quality snaps in obvious rundowns. Anything the Cowboys do this spring or summer will need to be affordable, given the cap constraints Dallas is operating under this offseason. According to Spotrac, the Cowboys currently have just $5.72 million in cap space. Meanwhile, the Browns re-signed Hurst to a one-year contract worth $3.2 million before the new league year officially began on March 11. Given that Hurst could be fighting for snaps with Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, and incoming second-round pick Michael Hall Jr., Cleveland could view the 28-year-old as expendable. Looking ahead to the 2025 NFL Draft, the Browns do not currently own a pick in the 5th round. Perhaps Browns general manager Andrew Berry would prefer a 5th-round pick in a trade from the Cowboys than holding Smith in a crowded position group. In addition to his prowess as a run-stopper, Hurst also can provide an interior pass rush presence. As Pro Football Focus points out, Hurst posted 18 quarterback pressures to go with his 2 sacks last season while garnering an 81 overall grade from the outlet with a strong 76.5 run-blocking mark and 75.9 pass rush grade. Hurst's 2023 performance is even more impressive given that his 22 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 1 interception came in 13 games before suffering a season-ending torn pectoral injury. While the Browns boast a loaded front 7, Hurst still played a role in Cleveland finishing the 2023 season allowing a league-low 270.2 total yards per game and the league's 11th stingiest rushing defense. The Cowboys are paper-thin behind starting defensive tackles Chauncey Golston and Osa Odighizuwa, as 2023 first-round pick Motzie Smith and Carl Davis Jr. combined for just 16 total tackles last season. Dallas has the draft capital and just enough cap space to fill a fairly significant need with a player such as Hurst who could have major upside if he can prove he's fully healthy and return to the dominant form he showed in 2023. Cowboys draft class receives rave reviews, O-line picks lead the way. The Dallas Cowboys needed to significantly upgrade the offensive line after losing 2 key starters in free agency and wound up making a massive commitment to fortifying the position group during the 2024 NFL Draft. In the 1st round, the Cowboys plucked Oklahoma offensive tackle Tyler Guyton, earmarked as a potential replacement for Tyron Smith, who signed with the New York Jets in free agency, and rounded back by taking Kansas State interior lineman Cooper Beebe in the 3rd round, before adding Louisiana offensive lineman Nathan Thomas in the 7th. Dallas Hall up front is garnering high praise in the draft's aftermath. After adding 3 offensive linemen, Pro Football Focus suggests the Cowboys' line is now among the most improved in the NFL. The Cowboys needed help at multiple spots on their offensive line heading into the NFL Draft, Gordon McGuinness writes for PFF. and used 2 top 75 selections on the unit. Oklahoma's Tyler Guyton looks set to man the left side of their offensive line, and while he is a bit of a project, having earned a 59.0 PFF pass-blocking grade on true pass sets last season, his athleticism gives him the chance to develop into a future star. Dallas used a third-round pick on Kansas State's Cooper Beebe, who earned a 91.8 PFF grade over the past 3 seasons to rank first among FBS guards, and grabbed Louisiana's Nathan Thomas in the 7th round. There's a legitimate possibility that Guyton walks into the Cowboys' starting left tackle role to open the season, and Beebe could push Brock Hoffman for the starting center job during upcoming minicamps, OTAs, and training camp this summer. If the Cowboys can plug 2 holes in the starting line via this draft class, and Guyton and Beebe play at a high level, it will go a long way toward this class ultimately being judged as a successful haul. There were 7 offensive tackles selected in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft, but the Cowboys are thrilled to have walked away with Guyton. When you get an opportunity to pick someone with those tools, Cowboys VP of Player Personnel Will McClay told reporters during the draft. And I think we've got somewhat of proven history in kind of what we are looking for and having that opportunity to do it. Like Mike McCarthy said, we haven't even put pads on, but we think there's an opportunity because of his skill set, spending that time with him, understanding what he's all about, what he can achieve, and putting him in a room with people who will teach him how to be a pro to improve as well. Guyton allowed just 2 sacks across 2 seasons anchoring the Sooners' offensive line at left tackle, according to Pro Football Focus, while surrendering 12 hurries and 3 quarterback hits during his collegiate career. But it's Guyton's athleticism that offers so much upside and reason for the Cowboys to be optimistic. From strictly a tools perspective, Senior Bowl Executive Director Jim Nagy recently told Heavy. You could make a good case he's the highest ceiling tackle in this draft. Tyler just does things athletically these other guys can't do. He's so light on his feet it just looks like he's floating sometimes. Even though he's played right tackle in college, he's a high-level left tackle athlete. After losing Tyler Biadasz via free agency to the division rival Washington Commanders, the Cowboys entered draft weekend with uncertainty at center. Dallas Cowboys expected to replace Dak Prescott with 22 TD gunslinger. The Dallas Cowboys did it yet again, and Dak Prescott, with the season on the line and legitimate expectations for a Super Bowl run from smart people both inside the Dallas building and media/analysts from outside, believed this 2023 squad was different. Prescott was in the discussion for NFL MVP this season and closed out arguably the best regular season of his career. The Cowboys entered the wild card round matchup as 2-score favorites over the Green Bay Packers, who have a first-year starting QB and the youngest roster in the NFL. Dak Prescott closed out the 2023 regular season ranked in the top 5 in several major categories for NFL QB. He came into Sunday's playoff matchup against the Green Bay Packers with 4,516 yards, third, 36 touchdowns, first, 9 interceptions, and a QB rating of 72.5, second. Although some rolled their eyes when Jerry Jones and company decided to fire Kellen Moore at the end of last season, as he's regarded as one of the up-and-coming young and brilliant offensive minds, head coach Mike McCarthy took over play calling and the Dallas Cowboys offense looked elite for the majority of the year. Finally, Prescott and CeeDee Lamb found the perfect chemistry and emerged as arguably the top quarterback/wide receiver tandem in the league. Beyond Dak Prescott and the explosive offense that averaged 389 yards and 30 points per game and finished with 77 touchdowns in the regular season, the Dallas Cowboys had a defense that finished the season ranked 5th in the NFL. After another disappointing early exit in the playoffs, the Dallas Brass entered the offseason with more question marks than answers. Initially, the expectation was Jerry Jones and company would sign Prescott to a contract extension to free up cap space and keep the core of their star players in place. But in a recent development, reports have confirmed both Prescott and the Cowboys are going to let their franchise QB finish out his current deal, making him a free agent after 2024. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Quinn Ewers? Leave your opinion in the comments.